question. I just want to find it. Okay. Would you, if you guys had daughters, I know you said you have a son. Son, okay, it's not a daughter. But if you did have a daughter, would you tell your daughters to be virgins until they're married so they can avoid toxic men and drama?
Hell no.
I don't think you can tell your children to be virgins. They're going to do what they want to do.
Right, but
regardless of what you tell them is going to benefit them later in life.
So I would say, but as parents, you have a lot of influence. So, I mean, you can't control them.
Yeah.
But like my dad is someone I listen to a lot. So if I ever have like a business decision and I can't decide one way or the other, I often go to my dad and I take his advice a lot. So if you were in a position where you did have maybe not control, but a lot of influence, is that what you would say?
No.
I would tell my daughter to wait.
Okay.
Because
I think that like having sex in a relationship is an important step to understand a lot of things. Even like as an individual, as a person. If I will have a daughter, I want her to feel free to having an open conversation with me. Of course, I will advise to her to wait until, 18 years old to be more aware.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say to her, be responsible on your choices, like protect sex. Yeah. But if for you it feels natural, I want you to be yourself and to experience that.
Do you think that could possibly leave your daughter open to predatory men? Because when you're 18, you don't have the life experience to really know the difference. And so if you're saying like do what feels natural, like the guys that make things feel natural have studied women. If you have a really good first date, he's practiced. Yeah. Men aren't like naturally, we're very confusing. A guy has to practice to understand us.
Yeah, but at the same time, you educate your daughter to be like independent and smart and like clever. And you like as a parent, you don't know if your work is good, and but at least I think you as a mom, you can say at least you're trying to give to your son what do you think is right. And then it's going to be up to him or up to her to make the best decision for her. Because at the end of the day, he's an independent person. I can try my best, but I will never going to control your actions.
Right, but I'm not talking about control. I'm talking about influence. Because I'm with you. I think like kids need to make their own decisions to some extent because they can't get to a certain age and have never made a decision for themselves. Right? But at the same time, it's like as a parent, if you have a good relationship with your kid, you have a lot of influence.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not sure that saying to do it when it feels natural is great advice.
It feels natural in terms that if in that moment, I don't know, probably your first boyfriend, you experience, and for you, it feels natural to have that first time with that person that you really feel into deep, just enjoy, embrace that moment. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, go like free.
If I had like a kid, I would just say be careful because there's only so many times you can fall in love.
Yeah.
And every time I think every time you get your heart broken, you can't fall in love as deep with the next person.
Yeah.
And you only have so much oxytocin you can give to guys. And so if you really want to feel bonded with your husband on your wedding night, and like when you get married to him, you don't want all these memories with other guys. Like to me, that's
choose carefully, you mean?
I mean, I would say the ideal is to wait till you're married. I think it's harder in this day and age because I also don't think men value virginity like they used to, because if you're a top 10, 20% guy and you have like a pussy on speed dial, like why would you not? Why are you waiting for a virgin?
Yeah.
Why are you even getting married at all? You know what I mean? So it's a different world. But I mean, I think the ideal is telling kids to wait till they're married. If they want to get married and have kids.
I feel like that's a really old-fashioned way of looking at it.
It's not realistic, I think.
No, I know a couple people that have done it. They're very happy. They're probably the most in like. I have one friend, like she waited till she was married. She never did anything, like not even waiting till not even other stuff. Yeah. And she's very in love with her husband, like very in love in a way like that. I don't think I've ever seen other girls like bond to their husband the way that like she looks at him.
I would get my kid to like aim for that. So aim for marriage, aim for the idea of you're going to hold out.
like that.
And like, if you if you hit the clouds, then that's what it is. You don't get to where you need to be. And more so because I understand that you made a great example with the predatorial behavior. If you're saying like do as you feel, if I'm a guy who's understood the game and I understand how to make women feel,
Yeah.
I can then
Manipulate
manipulate the girl into feeling a type of way. And if she's been taught do as you feel, I could do what I want and then leave. And that will cause her trauma. As opposed to if I've told my child to wait it out for as long as possible, it's more so, okay, I don't do this because I'm trying to wait out for as long as possible until I get something. Most guys that are trash bags won't stay the duration, and she'll be able to filter out the men that are not looking for something real and possibly get the guy that she deserves. And I'm not saying this is always the case, but it's a good way of filtering out the bad men.
Yeah, and I would also add to that. For me, the ego thing in my daughter's side, I'd have to sort out early. It's like, listen, you need to clock the game, right? You've only got so much time. This is the game. I don't expect you to be celibate and all that, but your time, be careful about your time, and you need to find the highest quality man as soon as possible, and then you try and be the greatest version of yourself with that guy. So you want a Ferrari, but you want to be a red to that guy's Ferrari. A lot of girls these days think that they're going to be like a competing car. Like I'm going to be like also a car, and then we'll just be together. And it never works. In fact, that's the best way I know whether I want something casual with someone, like when I've gotten to know them. Because I'm just listening for you to kind of say stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, we're not going to go far. That's how I know, because she's actually low-key competing with me. She thinks she's going to be like match my energy and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not a wife. So
You know what's something that I heard like guys hear and like girls say that like we think about completely different? So they call it like solipsism, where girls, we think everything's about us, basically. So if you say, oh, I went to the gym, I'll be like, oh, I went to the gym too. And we're just saying it to have something in common, but men look at that as you're competing with me. And I never thought about this like that, because as a girl, that's just how we talk.
Can you feel that?
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
Low key, you know where it's gonna go though. You know where it's gonna go when they say certain kind of things. You know the narrative. Uphill,
Yeah.
In 2 months, she's gonna tell you everything that's wrong with you, and then she's gonna bounce.
Not everyone who when you've injured a body part, right? You can't use it. Can we just all agree we can't use an injured body part?
Yeah.
So what are we instructed to do? Not
To
use
rest,
it.
yeah.
Right. Hold on, and then what? Heal. Okay. Can we?
Incorrect.
No.
One-ish.
Hold on. I'm not talking about muscles that need work. I'm talking about internal organs. I'm talking about things that don't.
No. I'm gonna let you land.
Like muscles, you need to work. Things need to be strengthened, but there's a resting period that's really important. And I think if we can apply that, like emotionally, we might not look at the word healing or working on self as such an alien concept. We have to look at the body sometimes, and the spirit and the mind.
Right.
Anyway, I'm coming with all that holistic stuff. So
But also, healing, right? The definition of healing is like, so something's been damaged, it heals, and then it goes back to its somewhat near its original functionality. It's not really healing if you go on a healing journey and now you're less capable of loving, you're less capable of bonding.
Nice.
but
Facts.
that's not
You're
always
more
the case,
judgmental.
though.
It just sounds, you're more into yourself. You start saying stuff like, me time, me.
I mean, honestly, I think it's more honest to just say you're damaged from every heartbreak.
But then
Yeah,
that's
facts.
Like,
wearing
and,
a
like
whole-
it's not that you're not going to heal from it. Like,
Listen,
you might improve, but like, there's no going back once you've been.
Yeah, no.
You're not gonna be better as a virgin at 18, or some of y'all maybe earlier. I don't know, 16, and you're a virgin. Then you've had 3 boyfriends, and they all broke up. Maybe one or two was toxic. You're not gonna be better after. You're worse. You're a worse product.
But what about
You should put yourself on sale.
But what about the people who have like completely damaged their cartilage and they decided to change their lifestyle, change their diet, get alternative therapy, and their cartilage
It's okay. That's like
regenerated
okay.
completely.
I'll give you an example. So that's like a car, right? That maybe you repainted it
A car is mechanical. The human body
no,
has a potential to regenerate itself.
it's not really. And that's
no,
why
it's
this sounds
actually-
no. Okay, you gotta let me talk if we're gonna like, not really. Like you can't go through 3 toxic relationships and come out better. You're worse. Put yourself on sale, and like that's honest. And like so when guys hear healing, like it's like a car. Okay, if it's got issues under the hood, you might be able to fix it, but it still has a history of issues under the hood, and you can repaint it and make it look better, but it's still a worse product, and it gets put on sale.
Yeah, no facts.
So after a certain point, you've had so many relationships, you put yourself on sale. It's okay that, and like honestly, you should have like it's a sign of ego if you say I can't put myself on sale. Like what? Who are you?
I don't know. I think maybe because my mindset is always spiritual first. Like
Yeah.
I come from a very spiritual perspective of things. So I just feel like, so if I was to say I'm damaged, okay, I can say I'm damaged, but then that's not going to be my story because I don't want that to.
It will be your story. It will be
It's a
part. It
part
will be
of
part
my.
of your story.
But I don't want it to
definitely.
be.
Definitely.
I don't want it to be the thing that I'm like, oh, I'm damaged, so therefore I can't. Do you know what I mean? I
I'm
don't
not
want
saying
to
you
wear that
can't.
coat.
It's just like this is part of your CV. So when you give someone your CV and it's like, oh, toxic relationship. I was so toxic I had to cut all my friends off for 6 months. They're like, okay, red flag. Okay, maybe like this girl's maybe a 10. Now she's an 8. Now she's a 7. Now she's a 6. Whatever it is. And so it's like, that's what I'm saying. Once you go through shit, you put yourself on sale.
But then,
And that's at least honest. Go ahead.
then I was thinking, like, when you broke up, you consider the breakup as a failure, like a personal failure.
It is.
And yeah, but at the same time, I truly believe that I learn with failure.
You can learn a lesson.
So I can improve myself with the breakup. Yes, I will be damaged. I will go to the next relationship with a whole baggage and I'm still going to be damaged. But at the same time, if I take the lesson, I can learn from that.
Yeah.
So you can improve yourself in a way that's valuable to women, but not to men. There's nothing after a toxic relationship is going to make you better because you've had sex with more people. You've been in you probably have more toxic habits from it, and you're older. So the things that men value, you're offering nothing. Maybe to you, it might be better, but that's like a woman's point of view because we prefer men with experience and lived experience because then they know how to deal better with women because we're all crazy. So it's like, and that's common. You're not like the only one that's come on the show and, said that, but it's like, it's a very much a woman's point of view and where men is just like, oh, that's baggage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
facts.
and it's quite clear as well that like if you talk about if you mention something like the healing thing and it's a toxic guy, to me all that says is that guy had an impact on you, innit? Like no matter how she's trying to act like I've healed him different now, I'm thinking
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
when my 50 years my deathbed she's gonna be like, yo, but I just want to talk to him one more time.
Have sex with him.
That's what that means. That's what that means. Still, I think this idea of you can definitely heal and retain, a lot of your value, but I think you have to have the right mindset. And today, people are so self-obsessed
No,
I
facts.
agree
that
with
they
that,
they
yeah.
take it into the more the ego-driven bit. So
Yeah.
every time they heal, they're like, "I'm better now. I'm better. I deserve more."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not. In fact,
You deserve less.
Or it could just be, instead of saying I'm better, maybe it should be I'm going to do better.
No,
Not I'm better, because you're right in what you're saying. Once you're damaged, you are damaged. That's not going to go anywhere.
It's also that
You can paint it in whatever color you want. You can make it pretty and all the rest of it. Once you've had a bad experience, that is going to be there and it will go with you. But then what comes in is who you meet, how that person decides to deal with you.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? You can meet someone that might be a bit sensitive towards you. You might meet someone that isn't sensitive. That makes a difference.
Can I just add to you said something about how on the spiritual side, like you're allowed to kind of repent. I don't.
Whoa.
No, I don't know. Is that what you meant?
No, because repenting is basically saying, okay, I'm now absolved from all my sins.
Okay, cool.
But I understand the whole religious aspect, but
Yeah.
mine's more like spiritual.
And you said you can kind of cleanse.
Like, you can cleanse. So
And so my point would be for the cleansing bit, like you still have mileage on the clock.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whether you've cleansed or not, these things have happened.
But does
and
the
you can't-
mileage sit in you though?
Yeah.
The mileage stays.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
if your situation put you to a mileage of 60,000, whether you cleanse or not, you're still at 60,000.
Yeah,
Maybe
facts.
you're not trying to get any more, but like you still at
Facts.
60,000. You don't go back.
You can't reset the meter on your car.
I don't know. I think I just have this thing about the mind. Like, if you program the mind to, but I get what you're saying at the same time.
That's a woman's point of view.
No,
Because women like a guy that's had a past and like been through some shit and now he's come out better. Because men have to create their value, where women are born with value.
Big facts.
So so you're born, you're given the golden ticket at 18. Even now, you guys are early
facts.
30s, mid 20s. Like, life is hard for men. They grow up being ignored most of their life.
Come on.
And so, whereas women, we're given attention. Like, what? When's the first time? Yeah, when's the first time you had a guy hit on you? 13,
As soon as
14,
you develop
15.
something.
Yeah. And so we don't even realize how hard the world is for men and how easy it is for us, where we can like spout nonsense and nobody says anything. And we can like use all these words. And I had to listen a lot to men before I understood what they were talking about. But I'm like, yeah, we talk a lot of nothing.
Do you know what it is? I just feel like the disconnect is like, I feel like some of you are establishing what makes you a better person, whereas she's talking about what makes you a better partner. You know what I mean? So it's like a better person doesn't necessarily make you a better partner.
Okay, now
So,
that
yeah.
makes so much
No,
sense.
no, actually, I think it's both, actually. Because I think a lot of the time, I already made this point, right, about what people tend to be think of as making themselves a better person. It's just more
About
ego-driven
them. Yeah, exactly.
narrative. I think the sign that someone's healed and someone's overcome something is that it becomes insignificant to them.
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
if someone came out and say, "I'm a piece, I'm a piece, I'm a piece," I know you're definitely not a piece.
Because
innit?
you were meant,
Because you wouldn't
facts.
mention it, you would just be it.
Exactly. If
don't
that
need to flex
trauma,
it.
if that trauma was, if you were over that trauma, that wouldn't be a key narrative in your life. You know.
It's just something that doesn't sometimes need to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, I looked up what are feminine traits: nurturing, soft, caring, playful, empathetic, compassionate, vulnerable. So when we're talking about healing, like all the things you guys listed, none of them got you to that. Like, it's like getting rid of people for 6 months doesn't make you more nurturing, soft, caring, playful, empathetic. Going on a trip doesn't make you more nurturing, soft, caring, playful, empathetic, compassionate, and vulnerable.
Yeah, or
Like-
do the opposite.
Yeah, it does the
But
opposite.
that was
But
in
no,
relation to no relationship.
But that's exactly my point.
That was
That's
your
what,
point. I
pre-
get it.
Like, let's say you feel more confident, yeah, but it's to a point where like you're now shutting, like you're more masculine, yeah.
Yes, I get it.
That's made you a more confident and better person in yourself. But as a partner, he might not be looking for that
You're too-
woman who's too loud or
Yeah.
like too in his face.
It's again because we become the men we want to marry because we like confident men. Guys aren't into confident women. They're into shy women that are like reserved.
Sweet,
like, that's the
shy, kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
Two kings in
typically.
any kingdom.
what?
Sorry, what did you
There's
say?
no two kings in any kingdom.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one king.
It's
one
facts,
queen.
though. Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
cutting off people doesn't mean you're better. I think it says the latter, because when I go through spiritual experiences, etc., I become way more tolerant, because now it's less about me and it's more about like, I see why you did that. I understand this, so I can
you more,
handle
yeah,
this
yeah.
better. So we don't have to argue, we don't have to fight. I get it. So if you come out of a so-called spiritual experience and you're actually less tolerant of everyone around you, that's again lends more credence to the idea of that it's more of a narcissistic ritual. It's more like,
But that wasn't what I was talking about. The cutting off thing had nothing to do with spirituality at all. It was more about dealing with the noise that was in my head. It had nothing to do with like spiritual stuff.
Gotcha.
That was for me.
But the whole spiritual thing, I think, can often serve as a really good way to not be accountable, because spiritualism is relative. Like you could make a lot of cases and say, you know, listen to Jada Pinkett Smith, right? she can validate hanging with August all day.
Yeah.
she's
No,
not a
facts,
good
though.
example.
Okay, she might not be a good example, but they're common. And so this is common. Whenever I hear girls talk about like spiritual experiences, I'm like, just say you're a 304.
No.
like just, and I don't know you, so I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I've talked to so many people in the last 6 months that these are like patterns.
Yeah, I don't know. Like people that I know that are spiritual, I don't know tons, but they all seem to have some sort of level head. And I know what you mean by you're saying that people could just say, oh, well, I'm spiritual and da-da-da, and they can push that onto that. But there are people who are
Speaking to the mic.
opposite. Sorry, there are people who are not like that. There are people, I get what you're saying about being tolerable and more tolerant, but sometimes that comes with stepping away from the noise, realizing, okay, what can I do? What am I short of? What can I give? What can I take back? What can I keep for myself? What can I give? It's not just about ego, but I get what you're saying as well. It's a give and take. It's a balance of both, if that makes any sense. You look very confused.
I understood what you said.
Okay.
Do you have a
Are you
thought?
sure?
I feel like he's
Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Come on.
Okay, fine.
I can see a butt.
Yeah, I understand that, but to me, it just sounded like a need to be right. It kind of just sounded like, trying to get out of the fact that spiritual practice breeds tolerance and love more so than anything else, and it minimizes self. And so, if that understanding, if you were to say talk about that story, I hate to be personal. To me, most of the key points of that your story, your spiritual journey, your healing, one, it didn't make you more loving. It didn't make you talk about yourself a lot. You said, me, that kind of thing. It didn't make you more tolerant.
But it wasn't
I
a
know
spiritual journey.
that other experience was something else.
Yeah.
But I think spiritual connects to everything. Like we have a pattern and you can see it in our life. So your healing journey isn't disassociated from that action, whether it was before or after.
You're saying everything is interconnected.
It's interconnected. And so, yes, you need time alone, but cutting people off, again, it even sounds like a bit of a
when
power
You need to
play.
focus on the right things, basically.
Yeah, it even sounds like a power play. Like you never hear someone at peace saying, I cut people off.
But
It's-
what do you think I meant by cutting people off? For me, it was just them not having access or availability every single day throughout the day.
But when you hear that, that doesn't sound feminine, nurturing, or soft.
But I am feminine, nurturing. And
I don't
soft
think,
in
but
my
you don't.
relationship.
I'm saying you don't come across that way because of the words that you say.
But that's because I'm able to articulate. I'm intelligent, and I don't think it's a bad thing for me to say I'm intelligent. But if I'm in a man's presence or if I'm with someone who I'm romantically connected with, my aura and how I am is very different.
So if we asked your exes, would they agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my ex watches this show, so hopefully he's watching and he comments. Whoa!
He told you to. Yeah.
He was the one who was like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you said your aura would change and etc. But
So hopefully he's watching and he comments. Whoa!
he told you to. Yeah.
He was the one who was like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you said your aura would change and etc. But surely it's other people's.
Like that's
perception.
like okay. It's kind of like if a man said, "I'm super masculine, but only when I'm around women."
But
So like that's like if a guy said, like it sounds like crazy because like if a guy comes in, he acts super like feminine, right? And he's like, hey girls, and he's like, look it, I am super masculine, but only when I'm around Victoria's Secret models.
I get what you're saying, but I'm in a situation right now where I have to think and I have to articulate myself. So therefore, maybe, do you know what? Maybe that's my alpha side. I don't know. Maybe that is my alpha side. I've run a business, so I have that alpha streak. But at the same time, I've been with men who are quite alpha and they're like, they've pointed certain things out to me. So I've learned, not only through what I've seen at home with my mum and my dad, but I've also learned through those men and through my own journey to be more feminine. So
I'll be about loving energy. It's about patience. It's about all these kind of compromise, and everything you say seems to be more around, you kind of realizing power in some way. So, you say you're intelligent and you've had a business and you cut people off and.
No, but you're now listing.
Your aura is like different in other people. It's all a lot of affirmations and words. You tend to you know what to say, but femininity isn't like
it, I guess.
Yeah, it's a way of being.
Yeah,
like
I get what
it's
you're
love, innit? Like you can tell when someone's feminine, but no one can tell me they're feminine. That doesn't mean anything.
But everyone who knows me, who experiences me, will tell you otherwise. So.
We're
'Cause you don't
experiencing you
remember-
right now, though.
this is-
Just to say,
so-
we're here experiencing you now.
Remember, you said sometimes you just
But
need to listen.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if everyone in the room is saying one thing, you don't think that. So,
But this is the first time I'm meeting everyone today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
I guess that again proved your point of me not listening.
yeah, avoid buts and try and
No, not even just that. It was also that's what I'm saying. It was my whole point of like, he's basically saying that all your points, it is more like, it's like a bit self-centered. Whereas it's less as like me being a partner. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you being all these qualities is not necessarily like appealing to like a man or to a relationship. But I get what you mean in terms of saying it's better you, but that's the overall, like everyone disagreeing with you. I feel like they're basically saying it's like, but to a man or to like a relationship,
Yeah.
it's not bringing much value.
And you're absolutely right, because you asked me in the beginning, what is my status? And I said, it's very weird and it's very complicated. Right now, I don't feel like I'm in the best space to be in a relationship. Because remember, I just said 6 months, everything was off, I know that I'm still not ready fully. I know what it feels like to be vulnerable. I know what it feels like to be to compromise. I know what it feels like to listen and all of that. I do not feel like right now, I just feel like I have to just focus on me. And everyone's journey is different. Everyone gets to a specific place in their life. And I think as women, we are so conditioned to be like, you must give, you must be loving, you must be nurturers, which is what we are naturally by birth or whatever. But I think it's also part of self-preservation. If my cup is empty, I can't pour. I need something for me too. Mothers, they say, what do they usually say? My mum usually has time for herself every Sunday where she focuses on her. And during the rest of the week, she's able to pour into everybody in the household. And I don't think she'll be able to do that if she didn't take time for her.
So would you say you're still healing?
Yeah.
There's that word again.
No.
Healing.
You need to define that today, man.
There's nothing wrong.
Recovering.
Yeah, because I
say yeah?
said,
Recovering.
I
So
said
technically,
healing
is
is
it-
not linear, right?
Yeah, but then, or you could reword it as healing. This so-called healing is not effective. It's not actually healing. It's more like revisiting certain narratives. My problem with a lot of modern women is you've been sold this
I'm
idea.
not modern, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're talking like one.
But
Like everything, okay, everything that comes out of your mouth says modern women, and it's a lot more humbling to just say, yeah, okay, I might be. Most girls today are modern women. I'm probably modern,
But I don't.
and it's not. Yeah, but see, like the fact that you always have to say, but I'm not, but instead of like listening, that's modern, because femininity is just taking in what people say.
Okay.
Agreeableness.
Yeah. So you've been sold this idea of spirituality that involves or includes this level of hypergamy that allows you to constantly reframe things in a way that tends to suit the modern female narrative of like, you know, me, I'm high value, I'm worth more, you know, that kind of thing. Because yeah, it just I did the whole like meditation, you know, I was a Buddhist in high school, and a lot of the results you know, your healing doesn't sound anything like healing to me. People I know who have actually like worked through things are extremely calm. They're extremely patient. They rarely talk. You just feel a loving aura. If you meditate on the heart chakra, that's a vibe. You know, no one who practices heart meditation comes out and says, yeah, I'm the best lover, but I am love. That kind of thing. It's not, the words are meaningless. The words are you trying to apply conceptuality to something. And conceptuality tends to have ego, because to have a concept, there has to be something to build that concept on, right? Words start to define words.
I get what you're saying, but you've said
No
I was.
buts.
No, hold on. But we're having a discussion, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, you said sold the idea of spirituality. It's really like, it's such a personal thing for me. Like, it just made a big impact in my life when I don't feel like I needed it. I was young. I was 17 at the time, and it's something that's carried through and whatever. But I do feel like I've even lost my train of thought. Like, I can't even remember what I was going to say.